we have to move on to our featured story of the night. All right, everybody. So I wanted to talk about Aquaman, but we're going to save that for another day because we've gotten pretty late in the show. So wait till tomorrow to see that. We're going to talk about The Last of Us for a second. We're having a little open discussion about The Last of Us. If you've been watching, it's an HBO Max show that came out based off the video game. And, you got Pedro Pascal playing Joel. You got Bella Ramsey playing Ellie. You have a great cast. You have a great concept. You have a zombie show. Okay, but does it work? Does it work based off the video game to what they give out to us? Now, I feel like the casting is great. It looks like a lot of the people from the video games. They actually did a great job with that. Marlene, especially, I was like, she looks just like her character from the game, which is amazing. One of the biggest things they did change, though, was that it's not airborne. The fungus isn't airborne, which makes more sense because the creator was saying, hey, we got to be able to have these actors walking around, show their face, show the emotions. And be able to have these
Pedro
conversations.
Pascal having to wear a mask again for a whole nother show, he would lose his shit.
He would be living. I bet he was like, I'm gonna tell you one thing, I'll do this.
Nope.
But no mask on this fucking face. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. So we've been watching this. So the first 2 episodes are out. The first one's like an hour and a half. The second one, they're down to an hour now. And me personally, I think it starts off way too slow. There's a lot that's happening there. It's like, you're showing how we got there, of course. We're doing an hour and a half pilot. We want to give some backstory. I think it's too much backstory, but it works. Then we get into the whole futures 20 years later. And I really think it works when they start getting into the real world and you start seeing the zombies and you start seeing them living in it. I just think it takes a while to get there. And I wish it was a little bit faster in the beginning. But overall, I'm enjoying the show. I just don't know. Does it work? That's the question. Sabrina, what do you think? Does it work? Or do you think it shouldn't have happened?
I like it. I like it so far. The second episode really pushed me to that. Like after the first episode, I was very weary. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go any further. But then I watched the second episode and I'm much more invested now. You're getting to know the characters a little bit more. The first episode was slow. I agree with Brian 100%. Like the beginning was like his backstory and the world's backstory, I guess, how they got to this point where it's like a sort of post-apocalyptic sort of situation. But it was very slow. And I was kind of like, who gives a shit? And then like the second episode really pushed it for me. It solidified a lot of things. And it also showed like, who the characters are. Like, what's that girl's name? The blonde, his girlfriend, Tess?
Tess, yes.
Is the character's name. She's a badass. And the first episode, I was like, ugh, she's so annoying. And the second episode, I was like, fuck yeah, girl, kick some. Like, I really, really appreciated her. And she really good. She stole the episode, I think, in my opinion. And,
she's great.
The little girl is snarky and in just the right way.
Princess Leia.
Pedro Pascal is Pedro Pascal.
From Obi-Wan.
So, there's that. I don't have a problem with him at all. So I think it works. I think it's only going to get better. I didn't play the video game, so I can't really draw a basis of comparison on that. But I think it's going to be a very successful show. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I think it's going to go far. I think it will too if they keep up this momentum, keep up this production quality. I mean, we'll see. The second episode for sure, I think they really dove into it. Lexi, did you get a chance to watch this? And what do you think about The Last of Us? Do you think it works? And do you think it's entertaining? And how did you play the games at all?
No, I don't own a PlayStation. I was an Xbox person, so I
never played the games either.
Yeah. My co-host, this is one of his favorite games. He's like super, super into it. So I have like that kind of fan knowledge a little bit from talking to him and stuff like that. He says the show's pretty respectful to the game, other than, as you stated, the airborne agent. Now, my thing is, if you know anything about funguses and spores, that's how they do function, is they spray spores into the air. So I kind of think that would be a lot more interesting, but as Sabrina stated, Pedro Pascal ain't doing any more things with a mask on. So I was like, this guy's whole career is just built around protecting some sort of child. Like all of this stuff is just,
they're like, it'll be perfect for this.
Really?
I didn't think about that.
So it's just like, and then it's like, if he had to wear a mask on top of it, it's like this whole guy's career is just wearing masks and protecting children. But
He's like, fuck that. I'm not doing that again.
He's actually an incredibly talented actor, and I thought he was excellent in the second Wonder Woman film. He was the best part of that entire movie.
I enjoyed him in that too.
I didn't realize that was him for so long, and I was like, wait a minute, that's fucking Mandalorian. What the shit?
I was like halfway through the movie before I realized it, and I was like, okay. But yeah, my friend was really excited about it, and I was like, it's not a bad concept. I'm like, I'm always here for zombies. I have a huge thing for zombies, but you got to do zombies right. They're always kind of difficult to do properly because zombies are not about zombies. It's like zombie stuff is about people. So the zombies are just a catalyst to the action kind of thing. So it's about a story about humanity, and it's about growth and understanding and those sorts of things, and being broken and trying to fix yourself in a world that's so broken and those sorts of things. Those are all key focal parts of any sort of zombie lore. So the show's doing a good job of showing like how broken this guy is and how he's gotten to the levels that he's at and that kind of stuff. I don't think it's being disrespectful to the subject matter or anything like that. But as I said, I'm not familiar with the game, so all I can run off of is this show, and so at that juncture, even if the show does go off the rails, I'll never know.
Yeah.
I have no ability to see that. Right.
I'm in the same boat.
I like what I see. And I think fungal zombies are always interesting. Like I've seen the concept done in other games. Like it's not the only game I've seen it done before. I've never seen it done in film or television very much.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see a little bit of a switch up on the zombie lore, but it does seem like headshots take them down, fairly typical zombie stuff. So they just have mushrooms on their heads and they're
I know,
zombies.
but then they have like the spores that come out of their mouth too, which is kind of creepy too, even after the fact that they're dead. So it seems like it could still spread from a dead body as opposed to a normal zombie. You're dead,
Right.
And then the fact they're kind of making it a little bit more, I was gonna say like Resident Evil a little bit, with the creatures kind of changing a little bit and manipulating and morphing into a new being is kind of interesting too. So we'll see where that goes. We're gonna say,
also in this, they make it so that the roots of the fungus are underneath the ground. So like
I like that.
There's like a connection to that. So like when they shot the guy in wherever the museum that they were in, everyone that was laying on the floor in the previous shot that we saw all woke up and came to attack because they knew, because they're all connected by this fungus.
Right.
And also they're like laying under the ground, and the way that they were woken up was like the roots came up out of the ground and went into their skin, and then they all got up and came and attacked. So that's also a really different take, like that, they're all connected in a way. And I think that helps sell like, as opposed to doing an airborne thing, I think that helps sell the extreme contagiousness and the extreme connectedness to all of them and how dangerous it is. I think they sell it really well that way.
They're definitely a bigger challenge as a zombie, with that whole being able to do that kind of thing.
Just like stepping on it, and all of a sudden they all know, like a 5G network or something, like a network, like as soon as they touch something, everyone starts running. That scene where all the zombies just like get up and start running towards the building because they stepped, that was cool. That kind of stuff is awesome.
They run, and I can't make a complaint about, like, because I don't like running zombies. Like the body decomposes, so over time they won't be able to move quickly. But where it's got a root structure running through it, you don't know what it's doing and how it's manipulating the body. So it's trying to keep this and that alive, so I can accept the running and all that kind of stuff. I think too, like, switching up the zombie formula, this could potentially just be another Walking Dead. But where it's got such a unique kind of structuring to the way the zombies go, you're more interested to see where it can go, whatever. But I do feel like fire would be an easy fix to taking these things out. Like, shouldn't be that hard to burn them. That's like, I mean, they're plants, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you start them on fire, and that's what they tried to bomb in the show too. They tried to bomb, which makes sense. That one scene where the girl's like, they're like, "What do we do? How do we stop them? Do we get a vaccine? Do we have medicine?" And she's like, "Bomb them all."
Yeah. I feel like they've already killed one of my favorite characters off in the second episode, though.
Oh,
so I was really enjoying the woman. I really liked her.
She's great.
Interesting. And
Anna Torv is her real name.
Yeah, Tess. She was so great. And then you knew as soon as like they had that exchange in the museum that something was wrong. Just the way she was like wrapping her ankle and she's so standoffish towards him, you could tell something's wrong. And of course, you know, she was bit. So
Could've
spoiler,
done
everybody.
at least 4 episodes with her at least. Like, give me a little
I
bit
know.
more time with her, because she got killed off so quickly, and I was like, well, the character I was developing an attachment to is dead. So
It's gone.
now I'm stuck with these two, and I'm like, I don't hate the girl or anything. She's fine. She's sassy. She works. I got no problems. Pedro Pascal is doing his job, but you know,
Yeah.
he's just a grumpy old man character. So.
He lost his daughter, so now he's
Yeah.
gonna fight like being a father figure again and
They're
take care
really
of Baby
pushing
Yoda.
that chip on his shoulder.
Ellie. Yeah.
The death of his daughter was done very well. I felt like that whole sequence was done very well. Like the way that she went into shock when she was dying, and like every part
Oh,
of
yeah.
that was done really well. The drama was really strong there. So I'm hoping that they can kind of bring those moments back in, because once you get to the city, it just kind of gets like, I got a lot to take in. I'm going to be a while trying to really understand the dynamics of what's going on with these light keepers and all this kind of stuff. Like, there's a whole faction of stuff. There appears to be another government. That I don't know
Yeah.
how this whole interior of this compound works. Why were they burning bodies? Why did they kill the kid? I guess the kid was infected. Like, I don't understand
Yeah.
like things here and
They
there.
have the
when
little
you get to
device
these
now.
Episodes. Yeah. But
That's a whole thing too. Just be killing people. The kid walks in. But you could tell like there was something mess up about that kid. You know, he
Right.
had like Walking Dead Walker kind of vibes, like, you know. So they just kill him. That's it. They don't have any kind of fear about that. They're just like kill him, done. Even his friend, when his friend like had like try to bring him back into the base, that was insane too. That he just kills his friend. It's
Yeah.
like, ooh, seeing red. But that's a different world. That's like post-apocalyptic. You know, what do you do? How do you change? How do you act now? It's a whole different dynamic than we're used to in the real world. I hope it doesn't become like The Walking Dead, just because The Walking Dead for me was great, but I just feel like it went on too long and it went downhill.
Oh.
And they had so much potential and they didn't take care of it. And now they're doing all these branch off shows where they got to go to Paris now and they're going
It's
to New York
insulting.
now. Like,
Yeah. You don't.
like
you
why
don't
didn't we do that?
end a series by not completing any of the main characters' story arcs, and then end the series with these third tier characters that we just got introduced to, and then tell us that I have to now watch 3 separate TV series to
Yep.
get conclusions to the characters who I have spent 11 seasons watching, which 11 seasons took what, more than 15 years to put out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have the patience for this, and I'm not gonna invest in a lot of these. Like, obviously I'm gonna watch the one about Rick because I need closure. It's the only reason I'm gonna watch it. I need closure on that character. I need closure on Michonne. I need closure on Daryl. Like, am I gonna get those things? Like, what's the point of any of this? Like, it's not different series, but like that's no way to end things. So, you know, this series here, I'm hoping we don't go down that road. I have to say the sets in this show are gorgeous. Like, I know there's a lot of CG stuff, but they do a lot better job of the destruction of the world in this one than Walking Dead does.
And then a lot of disaster movies even. Like I feel like the set design is just fantastic. They must have quite the team dressing these scenes, because I'm like I can't even imagine. There's like one scene they're walking through a bunch of cars and the cars have vines and stuff all over them. And there's this big master shot of it and it's like it looks phenomenal. It really does look great. Sometimes the CG for me it could be a little better, but you know, I'm just picky about that sometimes.
Do you think that they film some of this stuff in location and then put plants and stuff over it, or do you think that they just CG all the plants and everything in? Because I was like, there was the moment when they first leave in the second episode and they're walking down that highway overpass. I was like, it looks like an overpass, and it looks like they put vines and stuff all over the overpass, but then you can very much tell like the outside surrounding city is VFX. So
yes,
did they like take a chunk of highway and shut it down? And are they even shooting this in Boston? Like, are they shooting this entirely?
That's the thing. It could be on stage too. It really could be. Some of the stuff they can do is insane. It did seem for that scene that they were walking across some bridge. So maybe they did do a lockdown. I feel like they must do a mix of practical and visual effects. There has to be some
I don't
of
know
that.
about the wides like that, man.
Those wides sometimes.
I don't know about that, but the close, like when they were close walking down the street and all the cars were wrapped in vines and stuff, I think that was all practical and real for sure. But like the backgrounds are definitely visibly CG. But like, the bridge did feel real, but for some reason, I feel like the wide shot of it was not real,
Right.
honestly. But
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
you know,
saying.
but when you
like,
got in there, it did look very real. I'll tell you
Yeah.
what, whoever's the on-set dresser, his name is being called every
Right.
6 seconds on that show. He probably
I
wants
know.
to kill himself, or she, because that is some like, we need another leaf here, we need more crap here, we need more vines here. Like, I can't even imagine
Right.
the set dressing on that. It's insane.
I'm really good
Yeah,
at
I-
determining my VFX and my practical usually. Like I can always find the lines because I've been doing it so long. But
Right.
this show, I'm having a hard time finding those lines, and I'm like, good.
Which
I
Like
is-
agree.
that's what I
That's
need
how
in
it
my
should be.
life, please.
From a big budget show like this, it should be like that.
Right.
There are some times where I'm like, I can tell like a whole building is visual effects. You know, I'm like, they
Yeah.
just, but everything around it seems real. So I think it is great. It's a good mixture of it. The fact they're trying to do that and not just doing it on a soundstage, the whole thing, that would be great because that's what I hope they're doing. And it seems like that. It really does. I mean, just get in the real world and show us something. You know, it goes a long way. You don't have
Right.
to do everything in visual effects world, but a lot of
Well, the
movies do, and a lot of
museum's
shows
all real.
do. Yeah, the museum, that was all real.
Yeah, that was all,
Yeah.
and it looks great. And like there was some of those buildings they're in and stuff. That all is very real and done really well. It's got some great
Yeah.
sets. I know what the interior of the game looks like. Like I know visually what the games looks like, and this is perfect to the game. Like from
Oh,
what
yeah.
I've seen and what have you, like it looks exactly like the way that the game looks. So that at least, if you're a fan of the game, they should be covering your world pretty well.
Yeah, from what I've seen too, it seems like that down from costume design to the set design, it
Right.
seems like they're really on to try to make you really feel like you're playing the game and you're watching these characters come to life for the fanboys, for the gamers, for the actual people just watching at home that have never seen anything. I think they're doing a great job. So we'll see where the show goes. I'm really excited to see it. I was kind of back and forth, like I said in the first episode, but now I'm on board. So hopefully they keep going strong, and there's more characters like Tess that show up because she will be lost. She'll be missed in this whole series. But they led that you believe that too, because they showed the two of them in the trailers and stuff, mostly, primarily. So Tess wasn't even there, so I kind of knew she was going to die eventually. So I don't know. What's everybody think about The Last of Us? That's the question. Now streaming on HBO Max. We'll keep you updated as this goes along, and we'll keep talking about it as the show develops. And we're excited to keep going.